If you are aiming for the highest resolution for gaming, we are talking about 4K gaming, and you have a budget of below $1,500, I will show you not only a PC build that will be great for 4K gaming, but I will also show you a gaming monitor for 4K resolution and a 1440p monitor in case you want super high FPS at 1440p. If you don't understand anything about computers, don't worry about it, because throughout this video I will explain each component, and at the end I will explain what this whole PC is capable of running at 4K and 1440p. You will have the links for these components down below in the video description, as well with my website where you can find a PC build for every single budget depending on your favorite title. Because it's worth mentioning that if you want a 1080p monitor, then you're overspending your money on a PC build like this one. And you will also find my Discord in case you have any questions about computers in general. With that being said, let's start. For the CPU, I picked the Ryzen 5 5600. I don't feel like you need a more powerful CPU than this one when working on a $1,300 budget, especially because if you decide to go with a more powerful CPU, let's say the i5 13600K or even 12600K, then you will have less money to spend on the GPU, which is the most important component. So as long as the CPU won't bottleneck our GPU, it's totally fine, and the Ryzen 5 5600 is going to do an amazing job for gaming with the 6 cores and 12 threads. For the CPU cooler, I picked the ID Cooling SE224XTS Black Edition. Now, you definitely don't need an extra CPU cooler. You can get away with the stock one, but I decided to go with this one, first of all because it's only $30, and secondly because it's going to give you a more quiet experience, and most importantly, your CPU is going to be better cooled. But if you want to save those $30, feel free to go with the stock cooler. For the motherboard, I picked the Asus TUF Gaming B550 Pro ATX AM4 motherboard. This one is $150 and it has enough features for gaming, as well with BIOS flashback, which you may need for the Ryzen 5 5600. It also comes with two M.2 slots, so if down the line you want to put a new storage on this system, you definitely can without any issues. For the memory kit, I picked the ADATA XPG Gamix D20. This is 16 gigs of RAM, 2x8 of DDR4 at 3200 MHz. You can go with 32 gigs of RAM if you feel like it. Just know that it won't make a difference for gaming. So if you want better FPS, do not spend more money on the RAM. You want to spend more money on the GPU or the CPU depending on the title that you're playing. For the storage, I picked the one that I always pick. This is a Team Group MP33 1TB of SSD. Now 1TB is the sweet spot. Once again, you can save some money by going with 500 gigs of SSD, especially if you play titles like Valorant and CSGO that don't require a lot of space in your system. But if you play titles that require, let's say, more than 80 gigs, then you will fill up your storage really quickly if you go with 500 gigs. That's why I feel like 1TB is the standard for gaming. For the graphics card, and like I said, the most important component, I went with the XFX Radeon RX 6800 XT. This is going for $650 by the time that I'm recording this video, but it's going to give you a great performance for both 1440p and 4K resolution. It's really similar to the RTX 3080 in terms of rasterized performance, but the price of a 3080 is going for $950, and please do not buy that GPU at that price point, since you can get the RX 7900 XT or the RTX 4070 Ti for around the same price or even less and get way better experience. But for the budget of $1,300, the RX 6800 XT is what we're looking for on a 4K system. Now for the case, I picked the Fractal Design Meshify 2 Compact TG Lite. This is a great case with great airflow and it looks amazing. This whole PC, it's a black build. I usually do black builds, but if you're looking for RGB, don't worry about it. You will have the alternatives for RGB options in the video description. And the price will be actually really similar between RGB and non-RGB, so it's really up to your decision on whether you like RGB or you don't. I picked this case mainly because of the aesthetics, the airflow, and one of the most important parts here is that it comes with 3 pre-installed fans, which is going to be necessary because if you buy a case with no fans, then it can get really expensive depending on the fans that you pick. So here you definitely don't need any extra fans, And last but not least, for the power supply, I picked the Corsair RM750E. This is a 750 watt 80 plus coil power supply, which by the way is A tier rated on the PSU qualities list, meaning that it's the highest quality available for this wattage, and 750 watts is definitely enough for this type of system. Now, if you want a more upgradable path, because maybe down the line you want to put a higher end GPU like the RTX 4080 or 4090, then you can go with 1000 watts, but just know that it's going to get more expensive. So the total price for this system is $1,280 by the time that I'm recording this video, because remember, prices change every single day. So if you're looking for a system to run video games at 4K resolution without any issues, we are talking about most titles 60 plus FPS on average in high settings. If we are talking about esports titles, of course you are going to get more than 144 FPS on average. And also, if you want to lower the resolution to 1440p and get a 1440p monitor, you will be getting even 240 FPS on average for esports titles, depending on the settings, and you will be getting more FPS on every single game at 1440p. So like I said at the beginning, whether you want 1440p really high FPS in every title or 4K really decent FPS as well, I think this system is a one to pick when talking about a $1,300 PC. And if you have a bit of extra money, for $1,337, we are talking about $50 extra. You can get the RX 6950 XT instead of the 6800 XT, which is going to give you a 14% increase on average for gaming. So it will be a better gaming experience for not that much more. But of course, this is only if you want to go up to $1,337. Honestly, the 6800 XT is going to be enough, especially at 1440p. But if you want more frame rates for not that much more money, I think the 6950 XT is going to be a really good bet. And don't worry, you don't have to change anything inside of the system. And the Ryzen 5 5600 will still not bottleneck the GPU when we are talking about 4K or 1440p gaming. When we talk about 1080p, of course it's going to be a bottleneck, but for 1080p you have my other videos where prices are much lower than $1,300. And if you're looking for a cheaper system that will deliver really similar performance, then I do recommend you downgrading the motherboard to the MSI B550 Gaming Gen 3 motherboard. Once again, it has enough features for gaming, it's not going to be the flashiest, and of course it's not better than the other one, but it is going to be cheaper. And then I do recommend you not buying the CPU cooler, that way you save up 30 extra bucks. And the total price for the system with these two downgrades is going to be $1,220, and like I said, you are getting basically the same performance with minor downgrades. If you have any questions about this system or just any PC in general, it can be a PC build or a private PC, because this is what I upload to my channel, please let me know in the comment section. Don't hesitate to ask me, I try to reply every single comment as fast as possible. And if you got value out of this video, leave a like and subscribe, but most importantly, hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for your support, and I will see you on the next one.